Hello everyone. Let me know whether I am audible. So this live is about a few of the parenting mistakes that I made, and we are live in YouTube, and we'll be parallelly going live in Instagram. So please give me a few seconds. Okay, we are live in both YouTube and Insta at the moment. And I'll be talking about a few of the, no, just one of the parenting mistakes that I made. And in the coming sessions, I'll be discussing about few other mistakes also. So will be a series kind where I'll be sharing mistakes that I made in my parenting journey, and hopefully it will be useful to you so that you can avoid that mistake in your life. Hello, Mamu's mom, Shaz, Hanan. Hi. Let me know whether you have made any mistakes in your parenting life. Yes or no? Let me know in the chat box. Hi, Shamima. Today we are here to discuss one of the parenting mistakes that I made, the one that I made from the very beginning. Hi, Shaz. Okay. Shamima says yes. We all might make mistakes, right? And it's always better to know about that, and if we can correct it way in advance, then that would be really useful, right? So that's the reason why I'll be sharing mine. And previously, I've shared um, this experience with a small group of parents, and they said like it is a very helpful reminder. So I thought of sharing with you all. Hello, Fatima Sharon. So, shall we get into the parenting mistake that I made? Every time you hear about the successes that we make, right, through the social media. So today I'll be sharing about one of the parenting mistakes that I made. I really hope this will be helpful to you. We are live in both YouTube and Instagram. Hello to you all. We are okay. Bint Latif, Zainab, I guess Fatima Sharon. Hello. Okay, so are you all ready to hear my parenting mistake? Let me know. Hi, Hisana. Okay, so let's move ahead. I am someone who was brought up in a nuclear family. Okay, I have a sister also, and in a nuclear family, I have not got an opportunity to observe the parenting of others or how others parent. I have not got such a situation where I am observing others, and it is one primary thing why it is like that is because I was not parenting was not a kind of interesting subject for me uh, till marriage, and after marriage it became one of my top priority interests, but before that it was not at all interesting to me, and I have never observed the parenting of others. And later when it became one of my priorities, that is when I started learning about that, and in the beginning phases I have made mistakes, and I guess this one will be a useful reminder to all of you, and it will be a reminder to myself as well for not getting into the mistake again and again. And Rastam and me, when we talk about us as a couple, I've always thought like there is always a um, what it is not like we are same, but we always complement each other. That should be the word, I guess. Okay, we always complement each other. Like we had very good perspectives about parenting right before we had our first child itself, and in those areas where he had a good perspective, I may not have, and vice versa also. In those areas where he lacked, I have. So I guess we both complemented each other well. That is one of the reasons why we could identify the mistakes and also avoid it on a long term. And when it comes to raising a family, always it was like we wanted to raise a peaceful family. That was one of our top priority, because we have both seen families which are not peaceful. Mine personally, by God's grace, I had a very wonderful family, wonderful time with my parents and my sister. There was no kind of regrets that I feel like when I look behind my parenting. And yet we both had exposure to a lot of families which were not peaceful, and right from the beginning we wanted to avoid such mistakes, and create a family or build a family where we long to be in, a family where it is peaceful to be at any moment. Even when we have a bad time, we wanted that family to support each other and be there with us. Hence, having a child, and when I think about disciplining my child, like punishments or anger or shouting, it was nowhere in the list. I didn't want to. That was nowhere in the list. So that was a vision, and it was a common vision shared by my husband also. And we both didn't want to punish our child or be angry, because I hear parents say that only if we punish our child, they will learn good manners. They'll only listen to us when we shout. So we didn't have such a perspective. And in the beginning, when I got my first child, Isa, I used to wonder, like, how could parents really be angry at their children, because they are so sweet. They came from us, and the attachment that and bonding that we feel with them, especially in the beginning stage after birth, that is, after when they are 1 year also. I couldn't make out how ever in the world could a parent be angry at their child. Later, when I had the second, the third, I slowly came to know that, okay, there can be situations when we parents get angry, and I slowly started, accepting it. Just let me know in the chat box when you actually realize that, okay, a parent will be or can be angry at their children, will feel that anger. Because for me, that was a new realization that I got after giving birth to Isa, after a long gap after giving birth to Isa. So I took some time. So let me know in the chat box when you realize that anger will strike a parent. Because I hear parents saying, right when the child was born, I used to feel that. When our things get messed up, I used to feel that. So I hear parents saying that. But for me, initially, during just after delivery, I had that dip and all. But then I never had a sense that I will get angry at my child. So that was a distant, thing for me. So Fatima Kamal says, when I grown up, okay, you understood as you grew up. Okay, so we'll all have such a moments, and toddler stages when Hisana, and around 2 years with Fatima Zafai. Okay, so since I didn't want that anger, and naturally I didn't have that anger also coming out in front of me, and every time when I want to be serious, it was a kind of seriousness that I make up in front of Isa. I have to be serious, and that's why I'm being serious. So when he became a toddler, okay, Shamim Sujit says during siblings fights, okay. Fatima Kamal says, I realized my mom was very patient when I grew up, even before having kids looking around. Okay, siblings fights and arguments, I see. Okay, that's something that really kills our patience. Okay, so my Sharon Ranisa, hello. Okay, so I didn't naturally get that anger, and every time I show that anger at them, it was about acting, or purposefully bringing in that serious look in my face. So that was my condition initially, and since we didn't want to shout or punish our child, but there were situations when we need to say something seriously, right? So I found out a trick, and I used to be very proud of that trick. And that trick was a mistake, and that is what I'm going to share with you today. So the trick was, every time I found something uh, unpleasant with Isa, with my first child, what I used to say was, I used to make fun of it. Okay, like, uh, Aye, you did this, Isa. How can you do this? Don't you know that you shouldn't? touch the things before washing your hand. What a shame on you. Uh, this seems like a behavior of a 1-year-old child. Imagine I'll be talking to a not a 10-year-old, just a 2-year or a 3-year. So everything which I found that I need to correct him, I didn't use anger, I didn't use punishment, but I used to um, sort of shame him or humiliating him. You can call it anyways. I used to do that. Okay, I used to make fun of him. I was the one who did it. I cannot imagine. Okay, what a shame on you, I used to say. This seems just like a 1-year-old. Okay, don't you know that you shouldn't do it? What a pity. So such was my attitude towards Isa. Okay, and uh, honestly, I found myself, very proud. I'm very proud of that. I was very proud of that because I'm not using shouting and I'm not using punishment. And whenever I see some other parent getting angry and irritated, I used to feel proud that okay, I have this. I'm satisfied with this, and thank God I don't have to do that. Okay, I have a wonderful trick with me. And uh, what do you think? Do you think that this was humiliating him? Yes or no? Honestly, after some time, I had that doubt. I had that doubt whether I am humiliating him or not. Because as he grew up, not just when he was one, but a little more older as he became, I could see that in his face. Okay, like, he was getting disturbed, like when he's in front of others, and when I humiliate him like that, when I make fun of him like that, he used to feel uncomfortable. uh, After I started noticing that, I got this doubt, like, what am I doing? Am I doing right or am I doing wrong? Is there a mistake in what I'm doing? I had that doubt. And I could see that same shame in Isa's face, um, even when others were not around, also. That also totally confused me. No one is here around. Now, why should he have that shame on his face? He used to look down. Why is that happening? Actually, my intention was to shame him, right? But still, I couldn't, come to a conclusion whether this is right, whether this is wrong. uh, and slowly, uh, I could see that he was really getting affected. But still, I kept on, I held on to it because I was not switching to punishment and anger. I thought, okay, this should be right. This should be right. There's no other way that I can. I don't have any other ways. And this is not shouting. This is not, punishing. So this should be right. That was the inner voice that I had every time I used to think about whether this is right or wrong. Okay, so and as you said, Fatima Kamal has said yes, this was humiliating. Very true. And I started realizing that when Isa started showing the same behavior to his younger ones. So that was the moment. The first time I saw this very same behavior in Isa towards my second one, Musa, that was when it struck me without doubt that okay, I'm doing wrong. I have to stop it. So that, I don't know, it went across 1 year, maybe 2 years. I continued, not just two, okay. It went to three, four. um, I still remember the time when I was in a school, and Isa was taking something, okay, that he was not supposed to, and I used the same kind of behavior. And one of the people who was present there used to appreciated me at that time, saying, okay, that is a wonderful technique, Mariam. Normally what I do is I just beat my child beat my child's hand to keep the item there. And this is a wonderful technique. That is why I said it is not, he was 4 plus when I realized that this thing that I'm doing, this humiliation that I was doing, even though it is just making fun, but that is affecting him badly. And when he started showing that to Musa, that was the time when I realized I need to put an end to it. And I see that also as a blessing. That realization was a real blessing because um, now through Crink, when I meet several parents, there are moments when we have to get them to realize that, okay, the child is mirroring your behavior. Most of the time, we see our behavior as something separate and their behavior as something separate. Even though we shout, when our child shouts back, we see it as his negative. We never, it's sometimes hard to click that, okay, the child is mirroring me and I'm the one who need to correct. So, thank you. Hi, all, for all those who are waving. Okay. I cannot. Uh, so that was a real blessing that I realized at that point that I'm the culprit. I'm the one who has to change, and only through my behavior, my child will also change. That was a realization, because I knew that I'm someone who cannot tolerate humiliation to the least bit. Even to the minute, we are all like that, I guess, right? I never tolerate that, even the slightest. And if it is not so close relative and all, if I'm while engaging with others and in a circle, if I feel like something of that sort is, we get that sense, right? That slight sense, even if I get that slightest sense, I just quit that gang. That is how I used to be. And even now I'm like that. So so I could sense how humiliating it can be to my Isa also. And together we had a learning process. That is what, with our first child, we make all those mistakes. And when the learning process happens, it is a together learning process, right? We correct, and along with that, we help our child also to correct. That is the learning process that has to happen also. Because once we correct, I've seen in some families, once the parent corrects, it is like, okay, automatically the child should also correct. It is not like that. And For us, it will take some time, and maybe for the child it will take a longer process. And being patient all throughout the process, in the all throughout the learning process, is very important. Otherwise it will be like we are completely breaking them. We need our time to change, they also need their time to change. And all the habits that we imbibe when our children are small, it is somewhat hard to change, actually. Because when our children are small, that is the time when we experience that parenthood, and all those habits we get in at that time, that is like our foundation. So it will be a little difficult to revamp. And but if we take an honest effort and put an end to, and decide to put an end to it, definitely that is going to happen. And I gave myself some time, because I didn't know any other way how to correct. So it was all an error, and trial and error method that I had to follow after that. And my Isa also had a learning process. And now he's 12, and I don't actually remember the last time he used that with his siblings. So it's been something in the past, but I still remember it as my mistake, and thought of sharing with you. And remember, just let me know whether this was a useful tip for you. And Yeah, remember, wherever our children goes, we want them to hold their head high. And in order to hold their head high, we need to start and implement respect right from the family. So, and bringing in respect in the family is so important, because otherwise children will get used to this humiliation. They'll get used to being in a place where they are not valued, where they are, least valued, and they'll be okay with anything that people are doing to them. So we don't want that. We want our children to be, to raise their head high wherever they are. And for that, let's start implementing respect right from the family. And don't make the mistake that I do, making fun of the child. Even if you are not um, using punishment or shouting, this is also, the other things are hurt physically, but this hurts them emotionally. So let's avoid that also. And in the coming sessions, maybe most probably next week or so, I'll address my next mistake that I've made. And I hope this was useful to you. Hi, Asma, Hannat, Hajra, Safira, Farasha. Thank you all for joining. I hope this was useful. Just let me know in the comments whether this was a useful session for you. And let's continue the session in the future lives. Thank you. And those who wish to learn about parenting, we have our Parenting Without Foundation program that is running, which is a 12-week transformation journey for parents to avoid these mistakes and a whole lot of mistakes. So the registration link is in the stories in Instagram, and it will be there in the description, this live's description in YouTube. Okay, then. See you all. Bye bye.